The clock strikes midnight, and the world holds its breath. In the stillness of the witching hour, when shadows lengthen and reality blurs, the veil between our world and the next grows thin. It's in these haunted hours, between midnight and 3 a.m., that the spirits of the restless dead come knocking. Our first tale takes us to a crumbling Victorian mansion on the outskirts of town. Just an empty porch and the whisper of wind through skeletal trees. Sarah breathes a sigh of relief, but as she moves to close the door, she feels an icy breath on the back of her neck. She whirls around to find herself face to face with a ghostly figure, a woman in Victorian dress, her eyes hollow and pleading. The spirit's mouth opens in a silent scream before she vanishes, leaving Sarah alone with her pounding heart and the lingering scent of lavender perfume. Was this restless spirit seeking a connection, one last chance to change his fate? Sarah, a young woman, house-sitting for distant relatives, settles in for a quiet night. Emma, a long-haul trucker, fights fatigue as her headlights cut through the fog. Against her better judgment, Emma offers him a ride. As they drive in silence, she notices his hands, gnarled and scarred, gripping a battered suitcase. When Emma glances in the rearview mirror, the seat beside her is empty. The old man has vanished, leaving behind only the faint scent of pipe tobacco. A figure suddenly appears in the road, a hitchhiker, thumb outstretched. Emma slams on the brakes, heart pounding. In the quiet hours when most of the world sleeps, those who have passed on may reach out one last time, seeking closure, connection, or simply to be remembered. It's a sound that pierces the veil, demanding our attention and daring us to confront the unknown. Who could be calling at this hour? The tapping grows louder, more urgent, yet these encounters can also bring healing, allowing for farewells never spoken and closure long denied. In these liminal hours, our senses heightened, and the impossible seems suddenly plausible. We become acutely aware of the thin lines separating our world from the next. For some it may be the pull of strong emotions, love, guilt, or longing, tethering them to the world of the living. And if you do, who or what will be waiting on the other side? Remember, in the haunted hours between midnight and dawn, the impossible becomes possible, and the dead may walk among us once more. Are they mere echoes of past events, replaying like a skipping record? They serve as reminders that there are more things in heaven and earth than our rational minds can explain. In the silence between heartbeats, you might just hear it, the soft, insistent tapping of a visitor from beyond, waiting for you to answer one last knock. In the end, whether we believe in ghosts or not, these stories speak to our deepest fears and hopes about what awaits us beyond the veil of death. Or do these spirits retain some essence of who they once were, driven by the same desires and fears that shaped their mortal lives? Others might simply be lost, seeking guidance to their final rest. Do the living glimpse a world beyond our own, or do the dead find their way back, however briefly, to the realm of the living? Against her better judgment, Sarah creeps towards the entryway. An elderly veteran, heading home after years away, died in a fiery crash. Nurse Jenny makes her rounds, checking on sleeping children. A child's laughter echoes softly, followed by the patter of small feet. Jenny's flashlight beam catches a fleeting glimpse of a little girl in a flowered nightgown, clutching a teddy bear. In an instant, the apparition is gone. A faint knocking draws her attention to room 302, empty since its last occupant, a young girl named Lily, passed away weeks ago. His body was never found. Was the hitchhiker's spirit still trying to complete that final journey? Her trembling hand reaches for the doorknob. As she turns it, the tapping abruptly stops. Was this Lily's way of saying a final goodbye, bringing comfort to those she left behind? As the grandfather clock in the hall chimes 12, she hears it, a soft, insistent tapping at the front door. Sarah freezes, her heart racing. The house is miles from its nearest neighbor. The door swings open to reveal ... nothing. As the clock ticks towards 1 a.m., we find ourselves in a small apartment above a bustling city street. Michael, a college student burning the midnight oil, rubs his tired eyes. The tap-tap-tap of his keyboard is the only sound breaking the silence. Suddenly a sharp rap at the window makes him jump. Michael's apartment is on the 5th floor. He turns slowly, expecting to see a wayward bird or perhaps a tree branch scraping the glass. Instead, he locks eyes with a pale face peering in from the darkness. It's a young man, no older than Michael himself, with a desperate expression. Their gazes meet for a heartbeat before the apparition dissolves into mist. Shaken, Michael does some research. He discovers that 10 years ago a student leapt to his death from this very window after receiving devastating news. The hands of the clock creep towards 2 a.m. as we visit a lonely stretch of highway. The hitchhiker is an elderly man, his clothes outdated and slightly translucent in the moonlight. Later, Emma learns of a tragic accident on that stretch of road decades ago. As 3 a.m. approaches, we find ourselves in a hospital's pediatric ward. Jenny hesitates, then slowly pushes open the door. The room is dark and still, yet the air feels charged with an unseen presence. The next morning, Jenny learns that Lily's favorite teddy bear, missing since her death, has mysteriously reappeared in her grieving mother's home. These encounters, brief yet profound, remind us that the boundary between life and death is not always as solid as we believe. Doors stand as symbolic gateways between worlds, and in these tales, a knock serves as the herald of the unexplained. What compels these spirits to reach across the divide? Perhaps it's unfinished business, a desperate need to right a wrong or deliver a final message. These visitations often bring a mix of fear and fascination, the living are confronted with tangible evidence of what lies beyond, forcing them to question their understanding of reality. The silence of night amplifies every unexplained creak and whisper, leaving us to wonder. Was it merely the settling of an old house, or something more? As dawn approaches and the veil thickens once more, we're left to ponder the nature of these spectral visits. Perhaps the most chilling aspect of these tales is the question they leave unanswered. What happens after that final knock is answered? The next time you hear an unexpected knock in the dark hours of night, will you have the courage to answer? As the first light of dawn breaks, banishing shadows and silencing spectral whispers, we're left to contemplate these brushes with the unknown. So the next time you find yourself awake in those hushed hours before dawn, listen closely.